I think if you're confident in who you are, you have no problem as a woman making your man feel like a man.
So let's talk, Bersabeh,
Yes.
about qualities of a principled man and a principled woman. And I'd love for you to start on the woman's side
On the
because
woman's
you're experienced there.
side. I am experienced.
Yes, you are, and I'm not.
Okay, so this is a pretty deep topic. And why do I say it's a deep topic? Because I really believe that it depends and relies on your upbringing.
So it's nurture, not nature.
Oh, I totally think it's nurtured.
Mm.
The more, my very few years on this planet, I'm beginning to believe that it's nurture. And, and one of the things that makes me believe that is, being married to you, and we're from different generations. You're baby boomer, and I'm on the cusp of millennial and Gen Xer.
I'm actually on the cusp too. I'm the baby
you?
boomer that missed out on all the fun stuff like Woodstock and drugs and free love. I was too late for that,
You're too
those things, but
disappointed.
I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm 42 and he's 65. So being from completely different generations, I grew up in a home. Well, I grew up in a house with my siblings. We raised each other. The television raised us. I remember coming to the States. I didn't speak English language, and the way I learned to speak English language was from watching
Gangster movies.
gangster mafia movies like Pacino and De Niro
Pesci.
and Joe Pesci and all that stuff. So and you can all let you talk about how you grew up. And so my parents weren't there. They had to work double shifts to be able to provide for us, and we had kind of took care of ourselves. And we spent most of
Coming
our time
in as a legal immigrant from Iran.
Yeah, I mean, there's that
starting
whole
completely over in America.
and there's that whole backstory too, which kind of adds up to being a little messed up, I guess, right? And and why am I giving you this back end story is so that you can also relate yourself to why.
Just in case you're messed up too.
Yeah, just in case if you're messed up too and you're wondering why I don't have these qualities. Well, so I'll why don't you talk about so I grew up, how you were brought up, and you'll see the vast difference between
huge difference
the generations, and then we can talk about what's happening with the younger generation right now, which is far worse. So
I feel like I was very blessed because I was I definitely was the last generation where every day when I came home from school, Mom was home.
Yeah.
Every day. Mom did not work until we got out of high school.
Wow.
Until both my brother and I got out of high school. She was there for us. And well, let me backtrack on that. She worked. She didn't work outside the home, but she worked in the home.
Yeah.
She was a stay-at-home mom. And that's a big job. God knows. God bless you if you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
And God bless my mom. But every single day when I got home, she was there, and she'd have a snack for us. And we had every single dinner together as a family, no exception.
Yeah, see, we didn't do that.
We had every breakfast together as a family, and no exception. And, Bersabeh and I do that now because we feel like that's necessary, and it's beautiful, actually. And so I had a lot of molding. My father was a Protestant minister. And so he raised me in the Christian tradition. I've since studied a myriad of other traditions, and I have respect for all of them. And yet I was raised with these fundamental values and morals and virtues and principles that, unfortunately, Bersabeh and many people in the younger generations don't have that kind of structure, foundation and discipline. And so for me, my father was really unique. My generation, my dad was different even than my generation because most of my friends were taught a real man doesn't cry. And my dad said a real man can do whatever he wants to do, which is, God bless him, God rest his soul. And I was taught that, and this is my position based upon my upbringing and the foundation that my life was built upon, is that a real man can be tender with his woman, with children, and with God. And he feels confident enough in himself to show and share his emotions. I was interviewed on a men's podcast just a little while back, and it was all macho. The host was talking about snowflakes and my sons are not snowflakes, and they're in sports, and it's all macho and all this bravado. And I kind of spun him out because I said, a real man can be tender with his children and with God and with his woman. And a real man can show his emotions because that's part of being a human being. And when it's time to be soft, he's soft and flexible. When it's time to be firm, though, it's time to be firm. And it's time to be strong. And so a principle-centered man is an individual who has a full deck of cards, if you will, to play. Not just one card, but the full spectrum of manhood. Yeah. And in my experience and opinion, and you can talk to this from yours as well, that's what I believe we need in today's world. Yes. Not the machismo way over here, not the weak and the scrawny and the fold and can't stand firm, but the joining of the two in the middle. And that's my position and my upbringing, and you can talk some more about yours.
Yeah,
the woman's perspective.
I totally agree. I think from a woman's perspective, I mean, the way I've come to learn things and come to the point that I'm at in my life, and the way I was raised by my mom. My mom was a strong woman, and she worked and she took care of the home and she provided for us. So I learned that, you can have a career, you can work, and you have to take care of the house. You're the woman. That's what a woman does. And that's totally okay. That's not minimizing you. Oh, I'm a woman, I have to take care of the house. Yeah, you're the woman, you need to take care of the house. Because you are what keeps the family together. You're what binds it. You're the glue that holds it together. You have a very important job, and unfortunately that's been minimized and trashed as if though like it's meaningless, and that's a lie. I know it reminds me of something my dad told me. What did he say? He said, let me see if I can get it right. He said, when a man truly loves a woman, he would do anything for her. That was one thing I learned. I'm like,
I agree with that.
He would do whatever and anything for her. Now, he said a woman has the ability to make or break a man. And that is so true. That because how we are, we help them, and that's our role. And it's funny that it's like, oh, don't, that's not a woman. Don't minimize me like that. It is not minimizing you. It's a grand role, and it's a big responsibility.
And let me just throw in on this with regard to, just so you know, Bersabeh takes care of the home, and she takes really good care of me. And hopefully she would agree that I do the same for her.
Yes.
And what we're not suggesting here, and Bersabeh also works full-time in our business. And so what we're not saying here is that I don't do anything around the house, because I do my best to help out. I think
he does, and I don't like him to. No, I don't. But, and I think the important thing, like from a woman's perspective, is that I could do the stuff around the house and not feel like I'm not contributing or I'm not important. He doesn't make me feel that way at all. I don't know how else to explain it.
We share some of the roles of the household because she works as long and as hard as I do in this business. And so and from an entrepreneurial perspective as well, there's a lot of things that are much more leveraged for her to be doing than certain things in the house. So within the business. So anyway, I don't want to put forth that we're so old school, if you want to call
No,
it
we're
that.
not old school, but I think if you're confident in who you are, you have no problem as a woman making your man feel like a man. And just, taking a step back and be like, all right, you're the man. You got this. Because you just know. And I feel it's important for a lot of women right now because they feel like they have to compete in jobs and careers so they feel as important as a man. Well, you're the only one that's making you feel not important, and unfortunately the way the media and the system has been set up, it's making you feel less than, and you're not.
We could go on this topic
I
for a long
know,
time.
it's going on forever.
Yeah, it's long, probably our longest video so far. But let me just say, for her as a woman to make her man feel like a man, which she does, I personally believe that has to be earned, and that's you. If you're a man, that's your job.
Yes,
is to earn that kind of respect, and that comes from be flexible when it's time to be flexible, be soft when it's time to be soft,
and be a leader,
be strong and be firm when it's necessary to be strong and firm. Mm-hmm. And then your woman feels like, okay,
he's got it.
He's got this. Yes. So anyway, hopefully that helps.
That helps.
Yeah.